To the Tom Steyer stuff. Chevron has just donated another $500. Wait, let me pull up the video 1 sec. Sorry, $500,000, not $500. $500 would be funny though. 1 sec. A little bit more than 500. Sorry, 500,000. 500,000. Sorry.
The governor's race, and being a front runner means being a target. Democrat Javier Becerra is fending off attacks.
And it's
fending off attacks, and by attacks do we mean accepting money?
not just from his rivals, but also from his former co-workers in the White House. CBS LA political reporter Tom Waite is here to explain.
And it just heats up every day, right? People have their ballots, they're voting, so all these kind of daily sort of news cycles, they matter because people are making choices. So Becerra's poll numbers are on the rise. They have been for the past few weeks as he becomes more of a threat, as Rutabaga and Juan were saying. His opponents are taking more shots. What he may not have expected was that his former White House colleagues would be piling on. As Democrat Javier Becerra's poll numbers rise in the gubernatorial race, so do the attacks on his candidacy, including fellow Democrats at the debates.
Antonio is absolutely right about the secretary's failure on the immigration issue. There is a direct line.
That's an absolute lie.
And other Dems are piling on too. Thursday, Politico reported that a half dozen former Biden administration officials who worked with Becerra are...
How much is gas in California right now? I'm pretty sure the last time I went, it was like $6 and something.
Anonymously mocking his frontrunner status, one telling Politico, quote, "It gets the biggest political laugh every time we send around a poll." According to Politico, the whispers claim as Health and Human Services Secretary, Becerra bungled the COVID response, a migrant health crisis at the border, and other issues.
I feel like it's a little too soon for the Biden people to be lecturing on, what California voters should be doing.
Sorry. Yeah, it's today's average is $6.11. Well, 12 cents. The last time I was at the gas station, it was like I want to say it was like $6.50.
These are officials, some of whom, were kind of hiding from the country, Biden's deterioration.
The Becerra campaign is blasting those claims and provided statements of support from former Biden administration officials like former Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm. Even a veteran California Republican strategist is minimizing the claims.
Unless the former president were to come out and say something, I don't think any of this breaks through. The only way to change the trajectory of the race is to have something Swalwell size.
The candidates have gathered for 3 debates over the course of the last 2 weeks, including the showdown CBS California and Pomona College hosted last week. New polling is out every day, many of them showing support coalescing behind Becerra for the Democrats and Steve Hilton on the Republican side.
Steve Hilton is just a more television-friendly personality. The race is still fluid. Becerra is ahead right now, but not by a huge margin. There's still an opportunity for other candidates to pull up. Keep an eye on Matt Mahan.
Anyways, personally,
Chevron.
So Chevron donated $500,000 to Becerra, and this was his response.
That's a problem with politics.
Sorry, excuse me. Did I say they donated $500,000? They donated another $500,000.
They're not the bad guy.
Okay, Chevron, they're not the bad
Chevron.
guy.
I need Chevron.
You need Chevron, chat. You need them.
My people of the state of California need Chevron. Chevron wants to give me a check. That's their prerogative. Chevron.
Dad, can I just say how much it warms my heart to see someone care about shareholders, and you can tell he really cares. You can tell he heard, "Won't someone please think of the shareholders?" And he said, bravely, "I will." Finally. I've just been waiting what feels like my whole life for this. And I finally found it. Finally found it. What is wrong with California libs? Like, what the fuck? Changing my Venmo username to Xavier Becerra out of the hopes that they accidentally get alley-ooped the next 2049 months of my rent. Look at the exchange with Becerra's comm guy. Oh, this will be good. How much money has Becerra taken from Chevron, Jonathan? How about independent expenditures supporting him from big oil? Well, Jason, if you're on this app and you don't know by this point, I'm not sure there's much I can do to help you. What? What? Okay, here's the oh, also, he apparently just recently received $500,000 from McDonald's as well. Isn't that good, chat? If this was a blind ballot and you only saw a campaign's backers, which side would you pick? But this isn't a hypothetical. On the left, there's Xavier Becerra's backers. Tom Steyer's endorsements are on the right. And on the left, we have Uber, Meta, Chevron, California Association of Realtors, PG&E. They said McDonald's, and Airbnb. And on the right is Jane Fonda Climate PAC, California's Teacher Association, Unite Here, California Federation of Labor Unions, Sierra Club, Our Revolution, NRDC Action Fund, California Nurses Association. Yeah, I think I want to put my money on Meta. Yeah, I think, a union of educators and classified professionals. No, in Chevron, we trust. Bro is evil maxing, man. And I have to say, there was this really good, oh, it's pronounced Javier. Sorry. I'm like pronouncing it like a dumb American. My apologies. I always want to say Xavier when I see it like that, but here's the,
If this were the only thing in the world,
else.
does it address a real problem, a real shortfall of money? Yes. But what I'm saying, it's not the only thing we can do. I am proposing closing a corporate real estate tax loophole that's existed for over 40 years, that brings in more money to the state, that is permanent, that is completely fair. And as a first step, that's what I'm saying. I'll call a special election to pass that, because we do need the money. We are at a structural deficit, and it's necessary for us to respond. I agree with that idea theoretically, but it's really important long term that you get the details right.
Yeah.
That you actually do the work at the ground level to get it right.
So are you saying you would oppose this if it makes the ballot to tax the billionaire?
I didn't say that. What I said was, if it were the only thing we could do to solve this problem, I'd be for it.
But you're saying there are other things that you could do.
So the problem with wealth taxes on a state level is that the punishment would have to be very harsh for moving wealth to other states. A wealth tax, this is my opinion, based on the literature I've read, needs to be done at a federal level. And there needs to be a penalty associated with rescinding your U.S. citizenship. That is one of the most important things. One of the most important things is if you are going to have a wealth tax, I don't know that I've even seen wealth taxes passed on like state levels and what that would look like, because the punishment has to be severe enough that people don't move their wealth to a different state, because that actually would happen. You need exit taxes too, yeah, but punishing capital flight on a state level is a little bit harder, just because it's so easy to move and so much of this legislation would take so long. You actually will cause capital, like, okay, so to be clear, capital gains taxes, fine. General wealth taxes, great on the federal level. Real estate taxes, income taxes, all of these can be done, other than the wealth tax, all of those can be done on the state level. With wealth taxes on the state level, you can actually end up with capital flight, because these things would take so long to pass. And because they take a long time before, like, even if it was, let's say it was a prop, right? there's still implementation time. So. Okay.
I think that we're going to be able to solve this problem in better ways. And I'm proposing one of them, and I've proposed another. I came out with an AI plan that involves taxing every AI
Wait. Yes. Okay. I thought you said I came up with an AI plan, like a plan with AI. Okay. Yes.
transaction at a very, very low rate, but that is a way for us to get
I was stressed for a second. I was like, don't say that. No, don't say that.
To have an interest in what is being created in this state to change the world in which they're using this state to do it.
By the way, Political Breakdown has a newsletter. Check it out at kqed.org/pb.
If this were the only thing in the world, does it address?
Sorry, guys. I just wanted to share with all of you. This guy. My dedicated haters are so addicted. Don't ban these people. 2 week time them out. It's so much more entertaining to watch them keep coming back. It's so entertaining to watch these people come back every 2 weeks like, no, I need to tell you something. And another thing. And another thing. And another thing. Wait, one more thing. One more thing. All right. But I also wanted to see this with you guys.
I'm confused. Do you support the billionaire's tax that is going to be on the ballot in November?
Yeah, you would have to. I actually don't know if it would be. It's probably. I have to look into regulation more, whether or not you can pass legislation that operates retroactively, like taxes that operate retroactively. But I think if you were to implement a wealth tax on a state level, it would have to be a wealth tax that goes backwards. So to explain what I'm talking about for anyone who's confused is like, why are you against a wealth tax? I don't understand. Let's say we have the perfect plan, the perfect wealth tax plan. It's all at a fair rate. We should do a full, honestly, since wealth taxes are so in right now and everybody's talking about them, we should do a full breakdown of one of the really great things Ilhan Omar, well, everything Ilhan Omar does is great. Elizabeth Warren put out in her wealth tax proposal that obviously was never going to get passed. Because it was really good, but here's like the gist of it. So you have this wealth tax, right? And there's a lot of important details that come with a wealth tax. So like, for example, how do you determine how much wealth people have? Are you planning on assigning every millionaire and billionaire an agent to sit there and figure that out? Or are you planning on going, and then what, that agent has to personally go and assess all of their property piece by piece, bit by bit? It's kind of a bitch, right? Massive jobs program. Yeah, but it's about the amount of time it would take before you would start to see returns on an investment like that. So allow me to elaborate for all the people that want to say yes right now. One of the cool things about the Elizabeth Warren plan was that the way that she wanted it implemented was similar to how a country in Europe did it. I don't remember which country. I want to say it was Germany, but I could be mistaken. Where basically millionaires and billionaires were told to assess their own property. Agents would then review that property. And if they felt it was below market value, they could buy it at that rate. So let's say, Bezos has, like 5 Van Gogh paintings. Right? Well, we could have multiple agents go ahead, see every single one of the paintings, check the condition of the painting, see what they think of the painting, take it to a specialist, and figure all of that out, and then give it a fee according to the price that they've determined. Alternatively, something that would save a lot more time, effort, and energy would be, hey, you guys have the money to tell us how much one of these Van Gogh paintings is worth. So if you're a rich person, you're like, it's worth $1. It's worth $1. Okay, well, the state would like to now buy it from you for $1. So if we believe that it's under market value, if you were trying to scam the government, we will buy it at the rate that you suggested it is at. And so long as you're telling us fair numbers, we won't outright buy it from you. So like this was part of the wealth tax that like if your assets could be purchased if the state believed them to be significantly below the appraisal rate. And it was this was applicable to certain types of assets like art. Epic idea. No, there was a lot of really cool stuff in there. Is the sale forced? Well, again, I believe the sales were forced for certain types of assets. So not for homes and not for like heirlooms and stuff like that, but it was predominantly for things like art. So like paintings, you don't like, you know, why do you need a Van Gogh painting? No one needs a Van Gogh painting. I don't think I personally need to own the class. I don't think anyone needs to own the Mona Lisa. So when it came to certain types of assets, things that were absolutely simply luxury assets, the state could repossess them at the rate that you said was fair. What about when they hide that shit because they aren't actually auditing them? Is this alongside comprehensive audits? Well, this would, of course, it would be alongside comprehensive audits. So I don't remember if it was particularly, I don't remember if it was in the proposed tax, because the proposed wealth tax by Elizabeth Warren or not, because it never got passed, so I didn't bother looking into what the punishments would be. Ideally, it would be similar to any type of tax fraud, which tax fraud is taken pretty seriously in this country, where, like, if you are not following the rules and you're actually hiding assets illegally, not through loopholes, illegally hiding assets. So in this case, there would be, it would be cut and dry. You must list off every asset you have. Every asset. No loopholes, nothing like that. There would be ideally prison time if you're hiding assets intentionally, right? And usually the way that currently the IRS treats not disclosing revenue or not disclosing revenue or profit or whatever is it's considered fraud past a certain point effectively. But anyways, is Denims also Dr. Jihad? Stop. What is his handwriting? Listen, if I was writing on a pen with a pen and a paper with my hand, it would look better. I'm writing with a mouse. All right, damn you. And if I wrote even slower, I could write better. But should get a whiteboard, honestly, on stream. Dr. Shihad. Okay, moving on, though. There's a lot of stuff in wealth taxes that are very important. So, like, capital flight actually is something that's very important to take care of. And so on and so forth. Maybe I'll do like a full video breakdown of like wealth taxes and wealth taxes that have been tried in the past and the problem with certain wealth taxes, etc. But beyond that, whiteboard for writing donators' names. Honestly, I have like a tablet, but I don't like taking it out. Okay, back on the topic. As you guys know, for example, with minimum wage, right? So let's say minimum wage is, start a new slide. New slide. Let's say minimum wage is discussed by elected officials, right? So let's say this discussion begins January of 26, right? By the time California sees a prop for it, they probably won't see the prop. Let's say it goes really fast. This kind of looks like shit. Let me try again. Let's say we see prop, I don't know, pick a number or letter 1 in November. I think actually technically the most recent election will be in June. Let's say it's in June. Let's say this minimum wage bill passes really fast, right? The reality is it's very rare for practical reasons for this original policy to be implemented immediately, like June 3rd. Right? Because you need time to collect ballots. Maybe you need to retake ballots. Maybe there's like errors with the ballot collection. You want to at least give some time to make sure that all of the votes are in correctly, right? That any amount of time to like adjust that or review that is given. And then so maybe it is implemented January 2027. Okay, so implementation of the proposed minimum wage policy. Implement. Okay. So this would be the same thing, for example, for like a wealth tax. So just ignore minimum wage here. Let's pretend like it's a wealth tax, right? The only problem with this would be that between June, let's say all of the ballots are in by June, by I don't know, August. Let's say August, everything is confirmed, the wealth tax is going through. This kind of gives millionaires and billionaires a lot of time to move their assets and move their wealth to like whatever, the fucking Cayman Islands or whatever. Or to move their residence to Miami or to move their residence to wherever else. So I'm actually not 100% sure. I would have to double check whether or not taxation policies on a state level are allowed to go retroactively. So I don't know if like you can have in the wording of the original wealth tax, this would apply retroactively from the beginning of discussion of this. Or if that would be, I think it's incorrect to say unconstitutional here, but effectively unconstitutional. I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure if it is or not. No, read my chats. It's slightly retroactive. California wealth tax is retroactive as it's written to apply to anyone with California residency on. Oh, okay. So currently that's the position. Okay, so then it's fine. Becerra's supporters and his comms person here can't grapple with their guy being backed by some of the world's most destructive companies, so they reflect to Steyer's wealth instead. Both are gross. The difference is Steyer now badmouths those companies. Becerra defends them. Wait, what is this link for? Oh, it's just the exchange with. Okay. Just the logs is what you're talking about. So it's currently written to be retroactive. Okay. I'll take a look at the actual wealth tax and see. First version was retroactive to January 1st, 2025. Okay, all right. Well, yeah, then that would be dope. That would be dope. I think as long as it would be retroactive as to prevent capital flight, I think it would be very effective. Although I do think it still wouldn't be as effective as a federal level. Gary Economics talks about the wealth taxes and the need to have them perfectly designed. Well, if anything, Gary Economics would know about this as well, because one of the most important things about the Elizabeth Warren wealth tax that was proposed was that so much of it was based on EU models. Because Europe has tried, and a lot of different European countries have tried to implement wealth taxes. The problem is that if there's anything broken, you end up with horrible consequences. Like, wealth taxes aren't like income taxes where we can kind of just slide it around and fuck around with it and it's fine. Like, income taxes on like a year-to-year basis can change and it's not a big deal. There aren't horrible consequences from that, but there actually are horrible consequences from poorly implemented wealth taxes. But yeah, so that's it. It actually is important for wealth taxes to be implemented perfectly. Wealth can be moved. Well, yeah, he talks about how so many of them have failed and there's like a team of 35 people in France designing them to make them good. Well, like one such example of, I think it actually might have been in France that initially when they proposed their wealth tax, they incorrectly grouped assets. So people with assets that shouldn't have been valued as highly as they were getting taxed out of their fucking mind. So for example, if you live in a major city that's only kind of recently started becoming a major city, like let's say you live in like Miami, or you live in like, honestly, even if you live in New York or you live in like California, right? And let's say you bought your home in like, here we go. Let's say you bought your home in like fucking 1950 or whatever. And at that time you paid, I don't know, $50K for your house. And the housing market has gotten so obscene and you have not experienced a significant increase in wealth, right? The housing market has gotten so unbelievably obscene that like now you have like effectively a fucking mansion. Sorry, 1950s, $50,000. That number, that math. Sorry, 1980. Excuse me, let me correct that. 1980. And now your house is like worth like $500,000. Previous wealth taxes in Europe were incorrectly taxing all assets exactly the same. I want to say that it was France, where basically they weren't correctly assessing first homes and second homes and up differently. Where I think all of us agree, if you bought a home 40 years ago and your job hasn't changed, you haven't improved your life in any significant way, and now you have this home that's slowly getting more and more and more valuable, right? You're benefiting, but like you want to be able to keep your home. Like you are not the type of target that a wealth tax should be targeting. So first homes need to be taxed as separate assets from all other homes. Because once you're at the point where you have more than one home, this needs to be taxed giga, right? Like if you have the wealth to buy more than one home, that second home needs to get giga taxed, right? You have a $500,000 house, sell that shit. I don't agree that that's good policy. I disagree that that's good policy. Bro thinks that the old man from Up should simply sell his house. He can't afford the wealth tax on his house that is now in a great area and a great spot, and he should simply sell his house. Bro wants the guy from Up to die. California has this for primary residents. It's just based on purchase price, not market rate. Yeah, I mean, also, I think the other thing too is like people don't understand what a $500,000 house looks like, in like LA. Like, check this shit out. Let me see if I can find something. These are all like condos. These aren't even houses. Okay, can I get not a condo? Can I get like a home? Okay, there we go. Bro. Bro. What a steal. Oh my god, the inside is crazy. Oh my god. It's only $500,000, bro. It's got good bones. The bones in question are fucking moldy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is like cursed. Oh my god. Do you see how like, okay, let's say you bought this house for like $10,000. Or whatever, $50,000. Pick a fucking number. And you bought a home in like 1980 and you're like 60 or 70 or 80 now, and this is where you live. And it's like, oh yeah, well, technically your property is worth $500,000. So you better sell that house and go move somewhere else. It's like, oh, for sure. Let me just become a renter. Okay. Yeah, no. Asman House is crazy. It actually gave up, by the way. I had it try and find homes in LA under 500K that aren't like condos, and it pulled up like 6. And then it was like, that's the end of your result. Yeah, that's about it. That's what we've got. That's what we've got for you. And some of these is just lying to me. It's like, yeah, this is a home. And it's actually not a home. It's a fucking condo. Okay, seriously, but if you lived in this house and you could sell it for 500K, why not just sell it and buy something nicer elsewhere? Because your family and your friends and everyone around you is in that area and people don't like uprooting their lives. Like, let me sell my house, and then I lose my community, my friends, my family, my support network, and then I start over at like 70 years old in a new city that I know no one. Like, it's not, you know. Guys, for 400, maybe this is a better example because this one doesn't look like a fucking hazard to live in. But for $479,000, you can get a 750 square foot home. Why does it look 3D printed, bro? Oh. Ooh. What's the monthly payment? Dude, by far the most depressing thing about looking at homes in LA is every single one is in an HOA with like $100, $200, $300 monthly HOA payment. It's actually kind of obscene. Anyways, besides the point. My point is, like, when you're making wealth taxes, it's very easy to just put blanket stuff because you don't want people to abuse loopholes and then not realize that, like, these like blanket wealth taxes are impacting people we don't. Because, like, think about it. When you think about a wealth tax, what's the goal of a wealth tax? It's stopping the people who are buying out elections, like merging every company in the world to create a mega giga conglomerate and are purchasing every property near you and pricing up rent. Like, I don't give a shit about the guy that lives in the Asman house that's been living there for 40 years or whatever. Like, I don't need that person to be taxed more. It doesn't benefit me in a meaningful way, right? In terms of shrinking wealth disparity. However, the fucking Kevin O'Leary's of the world who wear 2 watches, who talk about how their mom used to buy 2 Chanel coats a year, you know, because that's what it means to pinch your pennies. To only buy stuff you need, like 2 Chanel coats a year. Like, those are the people that should be impacted by the wealth tax. And so anytime you're building policy, you have to recognize whether or not your policy is actually attacking the people that you want to attack. Think about it like balancing a character in like any game. If you have like Wolverine, and Wolverine is supposed to be a tank shredder, but Wolverine can do literally everything better than everyone else. Okay, this is way too overpowered. That's doing more than we want it to. When we balance this character, or when we set out to balance this character, we just wanted there to be a tank shredder. We didn't want a character that does everything. This isn't balance. This is not the intent. And it's the same thing here with tax policy or with any policy. We want to make sure that the people that we're trying to target are the only people getting targeted and not a bunch of other people for literally no reason. This is also the same reason, or it's kind of like the opposite side of why means testing isn't effective. So, like, I don't think we should means test a lot of government policies because the means testing would end up costing more. And as long as the wealthiest people are paying their fair share, it doesn't matter that they're getting pennies back in the form of Social Security or in the form of whatever, right? Instead of 6.5 interest, it was 2%. The payment would literally drop in half per month. Sorry, can you elaborate what you mean? Which is that in response to? Means testing is bullshit. Well, means testing is just an effective way to make it harder for everybody else, right? But anyways. So yeah, this is what I'm talking, when we talk about like why wealth taxes are difficult to implement, we're talking about how like there's a lot of things that you wouldn't think about initially when you're implementing a wealth tax, like, oh, we need to be sure that the first home is taxed at a significantly different rate than the second home, right? Like, we need to make sure that we have provisions in place for flight, for any type of capital flight. And we need to make sure that the punishment is high enough that it disincentivizes people to do things, but not so high that it impacts other things in a way that we didn't perceive that have negative ramifications later on. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. Wealth taxes are hard to implement because wealthy people have their hands on levers of power. No, wealth taxes don't get passed because wealthy people have their hands on the levers of power. Wealth taxes are hard to implement because all policy that's made to incentivize or disincentivize is more difficult than you initially think that it is, and people act in irrational ways that make it difficult to correctly predict every behavior. That's the reason why any policy is difficult. Like, think about when we talk about wealth taxes being difficult, it won't work. We'll only get taxed more. Okay, then why the fuck are you here? Why don't you go sit inside of your closet, never leave your home or speak to anyone ever? If you're just going to give up, go ahead. Go ahead. Get in your closet, shut the door or slide the door. Don't talk to anyone. It won't work. They won't like you. Don't eat food. It's not going to be good. What if it sucks? Don't turn on the light. What if you see something you don't like? Fuck off, dude. I'm sorry. We're going to keep trying. This is not L zone. This is the we fall over and then get back up zone, all right? Denims tells chatters to go back in the closet. Wait, I didn't mean it that way. Everybody knows about, like, the famous, like, perverse incentive with the famous example of, like, attempting to, here it is. The results of perverse incentive scheme are also sometimes called the Cobra effect, where people are incentivized to make a problem worse. This name was coined by economist Seibart in 2001 based on the historically dubious anecdote taken from the British Raj. According to the story, the British government, concerned about the number of venomous cobras in Delhi, offered a bounty for every dead cobra. Initially, this was a successful strategy. Large numbers of snakes were killed for the reward. However, eventually people began breeding cobras for the income. When the government became aware of this, the reward program was scrapped and the cobra breeders set their snakes free, leading to an overall increase in the wild cobra population. Think about, like, gun buyback programs. What's the concern with a gun buyback program? The Cobra effect. People just start 3D printing guns to sell them, right? So when we talk about taxes and policy being difficult to implement, this is what we're talking about. That you don't know every single consequence, and you can't perfectly predict what people will do in response. And so the best we can do is look at previous tax policy and look at previous wealth tax policy and see how those impacted the general markets, and then go from there. People will scam every policy that they can. Well, yeah, that's why you build better policy. Right? Hello? I don't understand why is it that every single, I guess it's just part of probably, like, the type of person that watches Asmongold is just a very, like, defeatist, like, loser mentality. But people are going to scam it. Then why do you do anything? If everything sucks and everyone's going to scam and policy's not going to work, then literally go live in a hole. Go to a fucking cave and live your life out in a cave. I don't get it. Why participate in society in any meaningful way, in any meaningful capacity? If you're going to just, like, in response, just throw your hands up in the air and be like, it's too hard. No, we can just keep trying. Eventually, we will run into policy that works pretty damn well, which is what we've done with, like, transit. Denims tells caveman to go back where they belong. True. And the reality is, actually, and maybe I'm partial to this, as someone who likes, not finance bros, economists, financial incentives are some of the best programs to implement. It's much better. So think about, like, Zoran Mamdani's attempt to have public grocery stores. It's much easier and much better and much more, in my opinion, effective to show people what they're missing out on and offer the incentives to correct behavior in a way that people can see than to punish or try and villainize, for example, for-profit grocery stores. If people can see public grocery stores work and they offer people, cheap groceries, and the business can run itself and there's still profit available, you don't need to get them to hate other grocery stores. You can just show them the benefits of public policy. And it's the same thing with everything else in terms of like tax policy. But yeah. Also makes it harder to do austerity in the future. Where can I go to educate myself about more stuff like this? Well, Gary's Economics is a great channel. I want to do this a different day. I want to spend some time doing this a different day. Maybe there's some part. But yeah, that's a good play. Personally. Look at this. You liberal Democrat LGBTQ supporting community got mental. Computer, make him super gay and horny. Computer, make this chat super gay and horny. You've been reprogrammed. Thinking about cock 24/7. Congratulations. That's why Social Security is so popular? Correct. It's just more effective to show people the positives of a policy than it is to show the negatives of a policy. Okay, let me close all these. I hope that explains the position to the best of my... I tried to do the best that I could. I want to do maybe we'll do a full comprehensive review of previous tax policies and previous wealth taxes. But I just wanted to share some of that really quickly. Okay, now... Why are you doing Squirrel Girl? That is not Squirrel Girl. That's your best accent by far. Oh, hell yes. All right, let's go.
Yes or no?
Katie, I just said I will vote for it if it's on the ballot in November. So what I've said is,
but you just said it wasn't a good idea.
Go far enough.
Now, Katie Porter and Tom Steyer sparring off in the California governor's debate over the proposed 5% wealth tax on billionaires. Porter has said she's against that proposal, which could be approved by voters this November. But Steyer, who is a billionaire himself, said that he thinks the tax doesn't go far enough, adding, quote, billionaires like...
By the way, it's insane that, Steyer is what it looks like to accumulate an obscene amount of wealth and not be mentally ill. For whatever reason in society, hoarding is seen as unacceptable in every way except when it comes to wealth and money. But it's still a mental illness if you're just sitting there hoarding wealth. Fundamentally, someone like Elon Musk he has a hoarding mentality with a mental illness. Because that money isn't bringing him extra joy. It's not bringing him anything. He has achieved the point where it's diminishing returns. He is not obtaining any more joy from the next $1 million. Honestly, it's not even diminishing returns. I'm pretty sure it's at this point negative returns. It's just a number to him now. Well, again, it's that's mental illness. To collect that wealth in that way is mental illness. It just is. For those people, the money isn't even about money, it's about power. Yeah, but what are they doing with the power? It's not making his life better. He's only using the power to get more money. It's not getting him any bitches, clearly. It's not getting him any friends, clearly. He is constantly tweeting about how he's fucking depressed and how he's upset about media always portraying him negatively and killing him off in the boys or whatever. It's in terms of general things that make your life better, it is not improving his life. It has not significantly improved his life. Money does buy happiness, but there's a serious drop off with sharp diminishing returns after a certain point. Listen, all I'm going to say is once you have enough money to buy every single team in the NBA, that's it. You did it. You won. You beat the game, dude. Maybe other people haven't been in this experience where, like, you guys ever play a video game with your friends and you've been playing longer or you put in more hours into this game? And so you're sitting on all of this wealth and all of these items. You would agree in that case if your buddy's struggling and they're like, dude, I keep dying to these mobs and I just like I can't get that gear, man. And it's just so hard. Can you imagine the world where you're like, yeah, that's tough. Yeah, that's tough for you, isn't it? Yeah. I could give you the last iron ingot you need to craft that gear, but I don't want to. It's my ingot. It's like, what? But you already beat all the bosses in the game, man. It's going to take me like 20 hours to get this ingot, man. Yeah, well, too fucking bad. Did you consider that? Too bad. It's like, you would consider that person to be a mentally ill person. You're hoarding wealth in this pretend video game for no reason, and you already got everything you would ever want. You are a maladjusted human being. That's weird. Just sadism at that point. And he got his ingot from someone else. Well, yeah, if you want to make it even better, imagine like a game where you have set classes and your buddy took like the merchant class and you took like the farming class, but you need the farming class because otherwise your characters starve, but it means you level slower. And they're abusing the fact that they have more power than you. Like, so just, we can go 10 levels deeper, but doesn't he have like 20 child supports to pay though? Okay, and I'm sorry, he's not even having sex with these women. It's all IVF. These are all like, he's actively trying to make sure as many of them are test tube children so he can only have men. So like, or boys or whatever. So like, and he doesn't even hang out with them or speak to them. And they don't want to speak to him. So also, he doesn't even pay it. He's had multiple of the mothers say that he's not even paying it. Anywho, yeah. Along the lines of the wealth tax, there's a lot of people here that seem to, there's a lot of people that seem to forget the best parts of this shithole that were created from crazy high tax rates, up to 91%. This leads to a problem with uneducated here, but that still don't understand a tiered tax system. Correct. Yep. They don't, I mean, a lot of Americans don't even know what marginal tax rates are, but, hey, now he carried around one of his kids as a shield for weeks. Shut up! You can't just say that, man. Stop it. All right. I've gotten so stun locked. Sorry. This is my hyperfixation. I like tax policy. Not to be a fucking loser and a nerd, but like I actually really like tax policy. I think if you don't like economists, you should watch more Marxist economists because they're really cool and they're interesting to listen to. Oh, thanks, Lynette. Back on the topic, because I want to get back on this Tom Steyer topic. Oh yeah, no, it's mental illness. At a certain point of hoarding wealth, it's mental illness. Like, think about, just for a sec, maybe I'm just speaking for myself. You guys can tell me if you agree. If I had infinite money, I would get a house somewhere I actually want to live. I would set up like a retirement fund so I never have to work again. I would get a house and pay off all of the student loan debt or any debt of any of my friends and family and anyone who I've ever been close with and set them up for life. And then I'd probably pay to set up my house to be like a cat jungle gym. That's the honest truth. If we're talking about exorbitant purchases that serve no purpose at all, that's what I would do. I would pay to get one of those houses that are like Like there's a bunch of shelving everywhere and there's like tubes for the cats. House or like I would do one of these, I'm not gonna lie. Whatever amount of money it would take to set up a house to do this. You just commission someone to set this up.
Let's make the house feel alive. When we bought this house in 1988, it came with 2 outdoor, like, feral cats. And then one of them was killed, hit by a car. And then the second one was hit by a car. And
No!
go to the vet for quite a bit of reconstructive surgery. So we made her an indoor cat. And then to get her company, because the other one had been killed, we went to the shelter and adopted a couple cats. And that's just started down the road. Cheesecake, chocolate, nutter, butter, crumple, rumple, cookie, poppy seed, kuro, nui, secret, wasabi, coffee bean, donut. So they're all rescues. We adopt them from shelter.
I see he got in a very Japanese time in his life at one point.
Secret, wasabi, coffee bean, donut. So they're all rescues. We adopt them from shelters as far south as San Diego and as far north as San Francisco.
We start getting kittens every year. Over time, we are getting more and more. And then when we realize that there's so many cats.
After a certain point, there's like no turning back. It's like, this is their house and we're living here with them.
All the rooms are connected. At night, sometimes at 2 or 3 in the morning, they'll start chasing each other on the catwalks, and they can go really fast, and it's pretty loud. It does wake us sometimes. Catwalks, I think the first one I built in 1995 actually was this one. For the walk, just the walks, I've probably spent $40,000 or $50,000. And they can be done a lot cheaper, but the catwalks are for the cats, they're also for me. They're architecturally interesting to me, the colors, and we always try to do something interesting, the shapes. There's spirals, there's bridges, there's arch bridges. A lot of the tunnels have faces on them, and one of my favorites is that in the upstairs bathroom there's a tunnel with a shark, and the carpenters actually made teeth, and when the cats walk through the teeth, they scratch the back of the cat, so the cats like to go back and forth through that. So you can't really feel ever there's 15 cats because they never assemble in one group, and they're very calming. So I like them because when you come home and if you're stressed and you sit down, 2 or 3 will come and and it just relaxes you. The koi pond is one of the favorite areas for the cats. They love to watch the fish. They also walk into the koi pond on the rocks and even sometimes put their hands in the water. They've never eaten a fish. So with 15 cats, we have about 22 litter boxes throughout the house. And we put a lot of them in closets where we add ventilating fans that run 24/7 that ventilates outside. So there's negative air pressure, so the smell stays in the closets. We also
Guys, I'm going to tell you guys, cat people have a lot of free time on their hands because they don't have to walk their cats. And let me say, I have seen some crazy cat tech. I have seen people build entire ventilation systems, and they're like, they've like vacuum sealed it, they've air chambered it. They have like they put like when you get your they've put like collars on their cats that have special chips that open the door. It's like, god damn. Oh my god. To be a cat owner is to become like a jack of all trades and learn about like electrical engineering, carpenting, to learn about physics. Like you must in order to do that. I'm sorry. That's anyways.
We have 5 Rumbas in the house that we run almost every day.
Yeah, RFID chips. Mm-hmm.
Really good job picking up cat hair. And then it's just us picking up after the cats a lot.
At first I thought, how can we get rid of these cats? But now I can't think of a single one that I'd want to get rid of.
Cookie was the one that we rescued who had been traumatized. And this year we suddenly found huge tumors on her. Took her to the vet and they said, it's cancer,
There's another one of these. Liberals, Democrats, LGBT community, real pedophiles, they're so confused. They don't know they are 2 gender, male, female, born a male with dick, you're male, born with female vagina, you're not in between that. That's crazy because I was in between your mom and your dad at the same time yesterday, and they told me how much of a disappointment you were. They said, get off the computer. Please. Please. Please.
We do, but we did the surgeries. And after 2 major surgeries, they were all benign. And they had never seen anything like it, so.
All right, I got stun locked. Just to say, all right, if I had like infinite money, I would definitely do that. All right, I bet I'd make like a cat mansion. All right. Honestly, though, I don't mean to be this person. I hate stairs. Not to be like a fat fuck, but I don't want a house with stairs in it. I'll take a house with stairs if I have to, but I don't want to go upstairs. Mostly because I hate like the few times I've had to spend in a house with stairs, it's like my ADHD ass can't handle that. It's like I go up, I'm like, where's my phone? Oh, maybe it's downstairs. I go down, I'm like, what was that coming down again? I go back up, the phone. I go back down. Well, I just read what it. I go back up. Phone. Down every single stair. I find the phone. I'm like, okay. Wait, what did I want the phone for? Oh, whatever. I'm just gonna go back to my fucking computer. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, I can't do. No. It's called autism. No, it's called being a hot bitch. That's what it's called. It's called being beautiful and sexy and being loved by everyone on the planet. That's what it's called. Anyways, same thing exactly. That can happen without stairs too, you racist. Yeah, but stairs are particularly... I hate the Stairmaster. Walking back and forth, the pacing is comforting. Stairs? Hell no. I'm stairist. I don't like stairs. I don't want to deal with stairs. I don't want to go upstairs. I don't want to go downstairs. I don't want to deal with any stairs. But moving on though. Yeah. Okay. So then, take care of myself. Retirement fund for my friends and family. Pay off their debt. And then what do you spend your money on at that point? Like, I don't have anything else that I want. I don't really like boats. I wouldn't get a boat. Okay, then what? I don't really like sports. So, like I think the most fun I would have would be buying the time for a couple of impersonators to, like, show up at a party. But I can just do that now. Like, that's not... Like, they charge, like, maybe $200 an hour. Like, I would hire a bunch of impersonators and I would have them interact with each other. And then I would just be like, I'm going to be an impersonator cuck. I'm going to sit here and you guys do that. And I'm just going to sit here. And then, like, you'd hire, like a, the Jesse Pinkman impersonator. And then you'd hire, like, the groovy guy. What's his name? Austin Powers. I'd get like an Austin Powers impersonator. I'd get like a Shaggy impersonator, and then I'd be like, go. They're like, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to do anything? No, just like interact with each other. I'd be like, yeah, go ahead. Playing IRL Sims. Exactly. That's just Tomodachi Life IRL. Dude, do you have some weird fetishes? No, it would just be entertaining. It would be like, I wonder what they're going to say. I wonder what they're going to do. That was interesting. And then I would tip them well, and then I'd be like, okay, can you leave now? Thanks. Then I would call my friends over and be like, dude, I did the weirdest thing the other day. No, but seriously, I'd probably like, honestly, I'd probably go and try and get like a master's. I would pay money to go get a master's because I like reading and learning. Okay, now what? Like, I am fundamentally struggling to come up with things that would improve my life. I guess I traveled to a couple countries. Then what? Start a band. I don't listen to music. I punish criminals. Visit the Titanic. I'm not trying to die. Restart every canceled TV show. Some TV shows were meant to be canceled. Start playing golf. Why the fuck would I ever want to play golf? Oh, here, you hit a ball and then go chase after it. I actually heard golf can be kind of fun. And I do like mini golf. I do like mini golf. Mini golf is kind of fun. I'm sorry for being a hater. I actually do like mini golf. Buy a lobbyist. I would pay some amount of money to like make Ted Cruz wear like a bikini and just like have him get tomatoed in like a town square. I don't know how much I would have to pay him to let me do that, but that would be kind of fun. Same with Mitch McConnell. I would just take every single male Congress member that I don't like, and I'd be like, how much money do I have to pay you to put on this bikini, get in a town square, and have us just throw tomatoes at you? What's the number? I'll write the check. Tell me the number, and I'll write the check. Okay, and then what? Like literally, and then what? I'm listening to suggestions. What else is there? They're pretty cheap. No, you know who's cheap? Eric Adams. Dude, I just need to give him like one ticket to Turkey and he would do it. Buy AT&T and sponsor Hassan. Why would I ever sponsor Dr. Jihad? Fishing? But you can already do fishing. You can already go fishing. We're only hypothesizing about things that would improve your life. Yeah. Just hopped in. Are we talking about how useless billionaires are? No, we're talking about the mental illness that makes you a billionaire, that insists on keeping your wealth and growing your wealth. Like, at a certain amount of money, like, after I've done all of those things, it's like, there's nothing else that's really, there's nothing else that I would want. I'm out of wants. I just want to go and hang out with my friends, play video games, and, like, travel once in a while. That's it. I don't really care about getting more money after I have enough money that I can just, like, not work and go on vacation like 2-3 times a year. That's it. I don't want to do anything else. Solve world hunger for $45 billion. Okay, we're not talking about things that would benefit the planet. We're talking about like the most completely selfish things you can do with money. Like the most selfish things you can do with money that you would want to do. That's it. I came up with a full list of stuff that I would want. Start a cult? Why would I ever want a cult and a bunch of losers being like, oh, anything you say. Clingy? Ew. And then the second you have cult members that argue with you, you don't really have a cult anymore. And that's just like a friend group, like a really big friend group. Pay someone to do your laundry. I actually like doing laundry. It's kind of comforting. Okay, so to get more to my point, I feel like at some point I would run out of money. I would run out of things I want to spend my money on, and I would just have this giant pile of money with nothing to do with it. At that point, I would just want everyone else to live a better life, and I would just spend the rest of my money trying to make everybody else live better. I've already gotten everything that I want. Okay, I never have to work again. I can go on vacation whenever I want. My friends and family are taken care of. Okay, that's it. I did it. Like, I beat capitalism. At that point, it's like, Mamdani, how much money do you want to make New York good? Tom Steyer. I like the Tom Steyer strategy of like, oh, well, I have all this money and I don't have mental illness that makes me feel like I need to hoard it. So when I'm pulling it up right now. So when PG&E donates $13.5 million to oppose Tom Steyer. Steyer promised to break up the utility monopolies to lower prices for Californians, which, by the way, these prices have gotten a little obscene recently. PG&E burned down the homes of my grandma, grandpa, grandma, uncle, aunt, cousin, and cousin. If PG&E hates Steyer this much, he has to be worth voting for. Like, this is what I would do with an infinite amount of wealth. This is what I would do. I would do what Tom Steyer is doing, which is, oh, you guys are going to donate $16.5 million to my opposition. Well, then I'm just going to donate $16.5 million to my donation or to my campaign. You think it pisses Uber and Meta off when they donate $1 million each to Javier Becerra and they wake up and see Tom Steyer donate $16 million to Tom Steyer? Like, at that point, that's what I would just do. I would just... Okay, I have all this money and nothing to do with it. Hey, tell me your policies. Are you going to actually help people? Okay, I will fund your campaign. And the second you stop helping people, I will make your life living hell. I will pay as much money as possible to make your life living hell. That's it. And I think like anyone who's a well-adjusted, normal person that doesn't have a hoarding mentality or mental illness would do the exact same thing with their billions of dollars. They'd be like, well, I don't know what else to do with this. Because there's just diminishing returns. It's like, how much joy could the third yacht be bringing you? You can't be getting like a substantial amount of happiness from the fourth yacht or the fifth one or the seventh mega mansion. Like, at some point, there's nothing else. There's nothing else. You're getting like so little. It's the power that gives them the joy, but then they only use the power to get more money. That's when you start hunting humans and visiting Epstein. Oh yeah, right. I like how the only two options are you try to like make the world a little bit better and like 1%, like sub 1% of billionaires feel that way. And then the rest of them are like, it's time to be a pedophile. It's like, what? Why is that the next conclusion? So, yeah, I gotta say, yeah, not, at some point you just have to join the other billionaires on a tiny submarine to visit the deep ocean. And then at the last minute, I don't get on the submarine. Callum, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Thanks. Also, I don't know if I said thank you earlier, but Danny, thank you for the 5 gift subs as well. At least back in the day, capitalists would wanted to plaster their names and everything, so they sponsored science and universities and stuff. Yeah, I would definitely, I'm not going to lie, that's the only other place I would put money, unlike dumb scientific experiments. The dumber the science experiment sounds, the more likely I am to give the money to it. The fact that so much of like genetics is built on this guy who was like, what if I just like looked at beans and legumes? What about like bean research? What if we just research these beans? Like, that's what I would be like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to put a shrimp on a treadmill? Perfect. Here's $10 million. Tell me if you find anything. Great. You want to see if lobsters can fall in love? Here's $10 million. Great. Tell me if you find anything. Excellent. You want to find out if, this particular species is polygamous? This particular spider is? Here you go, 10 million. Tell me if you find anything. Great. Like, the dumber the experiment sounds, the better. The more likely I would be to want to fund something like that. What subset of hentai is this? No, this is scientific experimentation. Can mold send an email? I'd love to know. I would love to know. But anyways, trying to do surgery on a grape. Bet. All right. Okay. Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm picking it up. Yeah, for sure. How much did you say you need? All right. Got you. But then that's not what they spend the money on. They spend like the money on like, I want to go to pedophile rape island. It's like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? I hate rich people so much. I hate billionaires so much. I have all the money in the world to do anything I want. And you choose to be a pedophile rapist? What the fuck? Why is that the why? Why? Oh my God. We already know Mold can start a relatively successful Twitch stream, but only seemingly in the racist variety. We need to study which animal is best at playing Overwatch. True. True. Yeah, world is your oyster. They could be the literal goat, and then they choose pedophilia. It's like, huh? Just donating to yourself as a Chad move, not gonna lie. It is, again, it's like insanely funny. PGE donates $13.5 million to oppose him, and he's like, well, what if I just donate 13.5 million or 16.5 million for myself? Yeah, what if I do that? Yeah. Did you get yourself an architectural masterpiece the art historians will talk about for generations? Without stairs, of course. That would be kind of fun. They aren't pedo rapists because they're rich and powerful. They got to be rich and powerful because they have no souls or morals. Yeah. Well, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unironically, I will say the best thing for a single billionaire to do in this country is sponsor a vacation to a different country for every American. That would be the easiest way to get Americans to be less stupid and less selfish and like broaden their horizons a little bit. And I'm not joking at all. Like send every American to like China, or send every American to Japan, or send every American to like Sweden or something, or Amsterdam, and immediately, every single American would become a better person. Please, Denims, think about the host nations. No, please, don't come here. Please. Denim's talking about committing war crimes against other nations by sending Americans there. I know you're right, but it's, you know, we need rehabilitation, dude. We need rehabilitation is the thing, all right? All right, I want to pull this up. Where is it? Oh. This is the next thing I want to talk about with you guys. So, chat, someone who's good at politics, can you guys tell me really quickly, is it good Is it good? Wait. Is it good that this is happening? I have to pee really badly.
I hate that it's come to this, but small towns now need to fight billion-dollar corporations just to control their own land. A massive $16 billion data center built for OpenAI and Oracle is being forced onto a small farming town in Michigan called Saline Township. By the way, that town only holds 3,000 people. In September, the town board voted 4-1 to reject the data center. Residents packed the meetings, they put no data center signs all over the town, and they did everything a community is supposed to do. 2 days later, the developer of the data center sued the town. The lawsuit claimed that the town was illegally blocking development by refusing to rezone their farmland. But sadly, the town was told they wouldn't be able to afford to fight the lawsuit. Within weeks, the town that had voted no was legally forced to allow the thing they voted against. Construction vehicles then rolled in. Right now, seeing stories like these, it may feel like your vote does not matter if a billion-dollar company decides it wants your land, but here's what should give us hope. At least 19 Michigan towns have already passed laws to block data centers after seeing what happened to Saline. A resident who lives just yards from the site is in court fighting the settlement, and the state attorney general is appealing the power approval. Data centers are no longer becoming a quiet takeover. People are now paying attention. I use the Conscious app to see what else companies behind these projects are doing, from Oracle to OpenAI and many more. The more people who see what's going on, the more power moves back to where it belongs. Every single one of these projects depends on towns not noticing until it's too late. The more of us who know the playbook, the harder it becomes for them to run it.
So, Chad, is it good that we live in an oligarchy where corporations can just decide they're going to build a giant data center in your city and there's nothing you can do about it? And your only decision is to perish? Is that a good thing? Let me ask Grok. Dude, they should beat your ass for real. Oh.